like you, motivate them, train them for entrepreneurship, measure the impact. I work with institutions. I have been a mentor myself to 200 plus real startups, and I do some workshops as well, and time and again. So you'll be seeing me. Would love to visit your campus as did in the past. I'll have a brief presentation on the entire program, and once I'm done, maybe you can ask questions. That's what it is. My colleague Ajay Jakle will be joining. Our intention basically is to onboard everybody here on the platform today, and not sure if we can do it today because we're still struggling to get your email IDs and everything. So that's what it is. And yes, we have to actually finish this entire thing. Okay, so let me just share my screen and let me start with a video. That's better.
I've been an entrepreneur for more than 45 years now. I've probably done 35 companies during this period of time. So I speak with experience when I say that there's absolutely nothing in life more exciting than being an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur is all about creation. You have a completely open canvas on which you can create the kind of company that fits your dreams, that can help society, that can help other people. It is just an absolutely phenomenal opportunity for all young people to go into. Now, to be an entrepreneur, it's not as if you need some degrees or some 30 years of previous work experience. You can be an entrepreneur if you have a good idea for a new product or a new service. You can be an entrepreneur if you are willing to work hard and face obstacles and run through those obstacles to achieve success. You can be an entrepreneur if you're willing to work in the ecosystem around you to find talent, to find capital, to innovate, to find customers. All these things are possible because the successful entrepreneurs already in India. But each entrepreneur has to go through his own journey or her own journey. But when you go through it, no matter what the obstacles, the excitement, the satisfaction will be second to nothing compared to any other alternative that you have.
Okay. So the gentleman whom you saw in the video is Dr. Ramesh Wadhwani, and the foundation is through him. He started the foundation way back in 2001 with a primary mission to create enough job opportunities for developing economies. He's one of the fewest Indian Americans, perhaps, who has donated 80% of his entire wealth for this noble cause. Kept aside some decent $1 billion for the foundation so that we can work. We work in 15 plus countries. A lot of initiatives are there. Our primary focus, since it has been always to create jobs, uh, where will they come from? They'll be coming from entrepreneurs. Now, where are these entrepreneurs found? These entrepreneurs are found in garages. These entrepreneurs are found in corporate sector. They're found in schools. They're found in colleges, universities, right? And what they need to do essentially is identify a problem which is really seeking a solution, right? And there are customers who are willing to pay for that. That's the whole idea. And the entrepreneur's vision has to be really far more than just giving a solution. It's all about creating a value, right? And that is how it is. So what you see people on Shark Tank, they essentially talk about that, and there are some wins and some losses. uh, Essentially there is a lot of winning for them because they have demonstrated that they can take considerable amount of risk and bring some change. That is what this whole mission is. So I welcome all of you to be part of this. At your level, when you're studying in your second year, third year, I mean, you're there in your university, you still have 6 months to 2 years, perhaps, I'm not very sure. And you can actually do a lot, right? So the program that we're providing you is called Ignite, and this is essentially an experiential learning, practitioners based, completely immersive program where you're going to learn skills through cases, which will be dealt in the classroom by your trained professors. And time and again, we will have some workshops for you, online or offline. We prefer offline, obviously, so we'll come down and we'll do that, right? And three of you will form a group, will form a team, and you'll act as co-founders, CEO, CTO, CXO, maybe, and identify a particular opportunity. It could be as simple as selling, 10 types of tea on campus just to see whether that can be done. And there is some enough value because you have great chains in the world who have demonstrated that. To an idea which could be equally critical, maybe, starting an electric vehicle kind of, startup, right? So this is all a fuzzy in between and you can think of. So the whole idea is whatever you do, is it sustainable? Is it viable? Is it feasible? At what point in time you require support? So what kind of support do startups need? Do they need funds? Uh, do they need mentoring? Do they need discipline? Do they need networking? All that is really important, and this program is going to, talk about that. Uh, what is the need for the entire entrepreneurship? I think, let's make it democratic. Anybody who can tell me, five things why entrepreneurship is required, you can use Chat GPT. Go ahead and tell me. Unmute yourself and just tell me why entrepreneurship is needed today, and from the perspective of you as students. Right. Let's talk about that. Let's dig deeper into that, and then I'll give you some data. Yashvi, go ahead, please. Thank you. Hmm. Are you allowed to unmute? Sujata ma'am or any other professor, are they allowed to speak? Yashvi, if not, and I don't want to dig deeper, maybe you can just post your information on the chat and I'll read it for everybody else. So Yashvi is saying it was by mistake. So Yashvi, if you want, you can contribute, else it's open for anybody. And if you don't need entrepreneurship, even, that's also a good thing. You can also add value even for that. Yeah, so there is something on the chat and let me put it. No, nothing. Okay. Okay. So there are a lot of reasons. One reason is we are an economy which is completely, absolutely young, and young people need a lot of jobs. They require jobs to survive. They just don't require jobs, they require good jobs. That is one. So somebody should be there who can create jobs. Okay. And you may think that no, there are some great companies already sitting in India and they can actually do. When a company becomes big, the company, uh, follows a process, a lot of processes and systems. And you will not be able to, the company will not be able to produce the required number of jobs, which are actually required, okay, for the economy. So in that case, new opportunities will always have to be explored in the entire space, right? And then only the new jobs can come. So startups play a very pivotal role in doing this. That's one. Right. So young people require jobs, and so let me just put it this way. So 10 lakh people every month they join the workforce, and they are between the age of group of, I think, 18 to 24, 25 maybe. So the point here is if they don't have jobs, there is always a problem. And that's what you see the scenario in India. You study something else, and then you keep studying something else, keep aspiring for something, and the number that comes out is just at the tip of the pyramid. Right. What happens to a large percentage of people? So that's the big problem. So young nations do that, right, and it's a big pressure on the government. That's one. Second is the digital, economy. So which is really good, and India is number one when it comes to digitization of things, right? In fact, Aadhaar, if you look at it as a startup, it's the most successful digital startup on the planet, right? And which has onboarded a billion people, and seamlessly they're doing, look at the kind of transactions that actually happen. So biggest example in, obviously a lot of stakeholders were there, but if you look at the story, it actually started by a bunch of people who knew technology, and they did it on their own. That's it. Okay, of course government was there to clear a lot of regulations for them and help them out, but the entire fabric or the infrastructure that is actually needed was done by these people, right? So that is one. So when you're living in the digital world, it's very important. And we have 4G and 5G connection, seemingly easy for us, and we don't know what buffering is, right? In fact, some of you might really be not knowing. So you just imagine there is this world which even does not have a 3G kind of environment. Think about them. So out of 195 countries that we have, hardly 10 to 12 of them are successful, and India is there. I'm not talking about developed or developing. It is only because some sort of entrepreneurship is happening. Okay, then if you look at the whole course curriculum on entrepreneurship of any type, we stand at 30%, where the entire world stands at 10%. So which means 70 to 90% of higher educational institutions in India don't have that. Okay, so that is the big problem. Okay, and this we actually realized in 1991 with liberalization, privatization, globalization. Okay, we saw a lot of foreign companies coming, we saw them competing with each other, and with competition coming into existence, right, the biggest thing is you will get quality products. Okay, so that is also very important. And obviously this will change the whole, shifting from the managerial mindset to an entrepreneurial mindset. Okay, so that's where this is important. Okay, so yeah, and if there is any other input, you can definitely add. Now let me just share my screen. Correct. So I was talking about this slide, what you see. Um, so essentially, if you are a new generation of entrepreneurs and you are expected to be a game changer for all the reasons, what you're doing, you're going to create jobs and contribute to the economic growth, foster innovation, encourage self-reliance, improve social welfare, and drive competitiveness. Just think of, I mean, some of you, or maybe many of you, would be from families where businesses have been the core, right? So think from a perspective of, if the business is there, what happens? End outcome. There are enough jobs that the businesses create. Okay. Um, so this is a question that many of you would have come up with. Fine. I mean, I know everything. All I don't know is the why, when, and how to do a startup. So here is the answer. Ignite is the program that we're giving, right? It's a 14-week program that we want to do, though we'll be winding up by last week of October. 35 to 40 hours you'll have to spend, and of course you'll have to spend equal amount, maybe more than that, outside of your classroom, right? So why this is different from many other program, it's today it's all available on the internet, because we have understood the pulse of learning, today, right? You can't be coached because you can't listen. That's the whole idea. And those of you who can listen, hats off. So that's where we have used a learning methodology which involves a lot of case studies. where you're expected to actually go through the cases. So every case will be there in front of you, and read the case and come prepared and contribute. Talk about that. Talk about what is right. Talk about what your, different, your opinion, which is different from what is mentioned there. So it's all about bringing peers together and contributing ideas and coming up with the right mindset. That's the whole idea. Now, the question is, what are these cases actually? These cases are, in fact, stories of startups. Uh, Maybe 6, 7 years ago, they were studying like you. Some might have joined some company, worked for 2, 3 years, then they felt they should actually start, right? And these are those startups who felt that they have definitely done something great at some point in their entrepreneurship journey, right? So if I have to put it this way, that what is this entrepreneurship journey, then I'll have to move to this slide, what you see on the screen at the bottom, that you can actually see. And let me just make it full screen so that you can read. Yeah. So just let us divide this into four phases, and every phase will culminate into a milestone. So we call it as the problem phase, the product phase, the business plan phase, and the growth phase. Right. And if you nail all these things, you're successful. As a student, what you can do is do some tinkering, excel your skill, and see if you can create some hack. And that hack will definitely be some sort of product. Okay. Go and test it out. What you're doing sitting in the classroom and using a lot of technology and maybe your own city, what you're doing is you're essentially validating a hypothesis. Okay. And converting that hypothesis into a kind of pitch, which could be really useful for use to attract, your stakeholders. And your stakeholders will include your customers, they will include your investors, they will include your, vendors, they will include government policymakers, all who can actually support you. So that's the whole intention of this program, right? So first 3 weeks, you completely invest in identifying the problem, validating the problem, whether it's worth solving or not. And you can come up with a lot, and you can use the Gen AI platform that we have right in this course. And you can also use custom GPT that we will provide you, right? And you can go ahead and test it out. Okay. The whole idea is whether that's working or not. Okay. So your exposure should be knowing what are the kinds of industries that are really, or that are fairly doing well. Okay. So maybe 10 to 15 industry sectors are there. And if I have to name a few, let me just bring to this slide. So for example, if you look at uh, a startup like Desi Hangover, which essentially sells slippers, and the main core business is conscious fashion, for your feet, is what they say. So it's a website, and they sell some amazing Kolhapuri chappals at a price which Indians will not afford, largely. But maybe other countries, people, they find it really amazing and they'll buy it. Okay. And they love it because of the artisan's work, because of different kinds of designs that it has. And this company is doing well. And the co-founders are students like you, who started 7 years back, and there was a faculty who joined. And now three of them are, handling their offices in different parts of the world. Okay. So that's the story. So this is all about manufacturing, putting into commerce, converting into e-commerce, something like that. The second one is which requires hardcore programming. And also it is very, very evident today, India's first conversational AI. So you might have seen that we used to struggle a lot. There was a time doing phone calls and, understanding and about a query, right? Today, that is just diminishing, because you have a chatbot. The chatbot is going to give you every information, whether it's a banking sector, whether it's an aviation sector, whether it's a hotel, whether it is sometimes, your edtech sector. Okay, you put an information and the information is actually there, right? And now this is converted into not just conversational AI, but it's actually an AI which will help you, do all your work. Okay, so Warloop is that kind of product. Okay, obviously here the customer segment was very different. The customer segment was a bank. Okay, so think of that technology sector. Okay. Similarly, if you look at, Honey Twix, which recently pitched on Shark Tank, what are they doing? Are they really solving a big problem, or did the problem exist? Sometimes, we as entrepreneurs don't look at problems. We feel that there's no problem, and actually there's no problem. If you don't want to look at it in that way, there is no problem, because we know what honey is and we know its importance, and we have a lot of companies which sell honey, and they're doing it great, right? But can there be a problem that can be identified? That's the question. Can there be a gap that could be fulfilled? Can there be a business opportunity that can be created? Is a question that an entrepreneur asks. Okay, and that's what Honey Twigs did. So first, the outcome is, a, they are selling honey. They're selling best form of honey. They're saying that they source honey from, and they're doing all ethical bee practices. That's one. um, they have solved one problem of honey getting, spilled over and you can't carry. So they have done some amazing packaging. They're selling it to people who are very health conscious, something like that. And at the same time, they're selling times the price that Dabur sells. Think about it. So there is a positioning that entrepreneurs are creating. There's a curiosity that entrepreneurs are generating. There's a space or a void that entrepreneurs are actually filling, right? And perhaps there's nothing new. Think of it. So entrepreneurship gives that opportunity. And I can go on and talk about all these, right? Whether it is Inspira, the first, non-tech skilling platform. So there are a lot of people who are from non-technology background. Yes. Okay. And in fact, they don't have formal education also. Can they be trained and brought to the workforce? Okay. What is the way, right? Uh, we are talking about an absolutely new kind of environment, but where on fingertips, you want to change the color of the LED in your home, or you can switch off your air conditioner, or you can actually see what's going on. That's what, the home automation is. Okay, whether everyone has adopted, that's a question. Okay, so which means that it's still a new field and there's a lot that can be done. But yes, people are actually exploring and doing that. Okay, but this company still exists and doing well. Okay, so likewise, Nourish or Bodh or Data Sutram, Torchit. In fact, Torchit pitched pitched, I think, in season one. Yes, very nice problem, very severe problem, very serious problem. 100 crore rupees valuation is what I remember. And they were giving 0.5 equity, percent equity, which was too small, I think, for the uh, uh, yeah, for the product. So very hard touching. They've created a device which can actually detect obstacles for people who are hard in terms of, you know seeing things, and they're visually impaired, so to say. And that's how they're actually working. Okay, and they've come up with lot many other devices, right? So yeah, so that's what it is. So now what you see is this is the story. These are the success elements: problem identification, customer value proposition, competitive advantage, business model, build your MVP, minimum viable product, first product, uh, financial feasibility, yes. Then how are you going to launch your product? What's your strategy? Your growth and scaling. I mean, if you have to expand, and then what's your funding strategy? Okay, you come up with a very nice pitch and go ahead and do that. So what we expect you to learn is starting from developing your soft skills, which is very important, in fact. And it is beyond communication skills. It requires interpersonal skills. It requires articulative thinking. It requires critical thinking. It requires out of the box thinking. It requires being very punctual and prompt and everything. Okay, and it requires, of course, some technical skills, right? How you can engage with people, to understanding startup frameworks. So when we say frameworks, means just put something into that and there is a desired output, right? You think about it. If you have to, so there's one startup, I think I just remember, it is uh, uh, I think from South India, and they make batters, right, and very quick meal if you really want. And it should be hygienic, it should be good, and it should be as it is, right? So suppose you have to fry vada. The biggest problem of frying the vada is it's out of shape, right? And this is where this startup has actually nailed. Okay, so they've come up with the whole framework, they put it, and you come out. So similarly for startups also we do have framework. Okay, and yeah, the name of the startup is, I think, ID Foods. So just check. uh, what you do is you have a framework, and you learn that, and there will be a desired outcome. So first framework should be for the problem, because if I ask you what is the problem that you're solving, you will say, I'm creating an app and I'm going to do. These are two different things. The question is, we are not interested in your app or your solution, we are interested in what is the problem. And then let us dig deeper into this. Okay, if we ask about business model, there has to be some framework which can be helpful. If you ask about value proposition or the value that you want to create, there should be some framework. If we ask you how do you want to pitch, there should be some framework. So frameworks really help people to become efficient and faster. So this is what you're going to learn. Then of course we have evaluating, business scenarios. So you'll be able to evaluate various business scenarios, who did what and whether it was good or bad, right? Critically, from uh, uh, you can say an entrepreneur's point of view, uh, to be really successful, there's one obstacle that comes: product market. And can you identify the fit? If you don't identify the fit, it's all in paper. So great idea, zero outcome. Okay, and sometimes big companies can also make mistake, like Google Glass. Okay, so Google did this experiment, came up with a great product in 2013, started launching. They could not even do that in 8 months. They had to actually shut down this entire thing, because there was privacy issue. It required internet. It was very costly and all those stuff. So product and market. So what is a market? Market consists of sellers and buyers, and there have to be that sync. Okay. So this is what you're going to actually learn. Yes, you saw Ramesh. Ramesh is a Padma Shri by the government of India. Uh, Mitul joined us, and he's the president of the foundation, and he takes care of the entire entrepreneur division. And Ignite is one of the programs within that. Okay, and Rajiv heads the entire Ignite for India and Southeast Asia. Uh, Let me go back to the slide, which was this. Yes. So in a week, your faculty members are going to conduct 3 sessions, not necessarily exactly for 3 days. I leave it to them. 3 hours kind of thing will be there. It can be a little less. So the opening will always be through a case and contribute. And the ending should be through an open hour or a learning lab, where you come up with your idea and what you have done, whether that is right or not. And that's what you have to put it in your milestone one. And many of you may think that we are not very clear during milestone 1 or 2. That is fine. That's what it is. If you're very serious, I think very serious people will always be confused. And that's the reason the platform is very flexible. You can change your logo, you can change your description, you can change your milestone. That's fine. That's how it is. Okay. And towards the end, once you submit your final pitch deck, which is your milestone 4, which will be of 25 to 30 slides, could be more sometimes, right? We are going to evaluate it. Okay. We will definitely evaluate the previous ones and your faculty, but that is something that will lead to some kind of outcome. One outcome is in the form of a certification. If you're scoring 80% and above, there'll be a completion certificate we would like to give you. That's one, right? The second one is, which is important, which is more important for you and for us. Uh, are these ideas viable? Can we get 5% of viable ideas, potential viable ideas? So that kind of support will start from week 10 itself. uh, I've created a custom GPT and we put that idea into that, and currently it's getting trained, and we have to give a lot of inputs to it, and let's see how that comes out. Okay, so sometimes when I give an empty deck, it's not giving a very good answer, which is still okay, and maybe in the next a few 1 or 2 months it will be clear. So that could be an easier way that you can actually validate it, and then we can discuss the next journey. So we want you to give that reality check whether this is working. Now, what happens then? Because you want to start your venture, or at least a few of you would like to start your venture. See that. So there is something called an incubator, which you have and which we have all across India. We work with them, and we'll connect you to some relevant incubators. Go and pitch to them, get some seat there, start registering your startup, and go ahead. That's what it is. You're not able to see your PPT. I remember that I shared PPT a little late. So yeah, any questions? Now I'm just stopping it. Did you see the PPT in the last 10-15 minutes? Need a response, please. Through some reactions if you're not able to mute or unmute. Yes, sir. Thank you, Vani. That's fine. Let me check. Yeah, Divisha is also. If you have questions, so let's spend time in understanding the things, and you can ask me any question related to entrepreneurship or the course. Let me see if I can justify or answer. Yeah, I'll share the PPT on the chat. I think we will have individual groups and I can share everything there. I'm quite curious. There can't be no to the question. By what time will we be registered? Yes, that's the question. That's a good question. We were expected to get you registered last week, but I think I was not allowed to enter through some technology issue, or I was being thrown away. Uh, and this is a session, right? And I haven't received the entries yet. Okay, so I need to have entries. I'm very happy to see 175 people joining, so barring 4 or 5 of us who are faculty members, so 170, which is good. So if I get that data today, I'll shoot an invite and you can go ahead. Okay, let me just share. Yes, so let me share the process so that you can remember. Yes, so this is the process. So you're going to receive an email on the email ID that we will receive, dear and whatever is your email ID, right? And you will have this. You'll receive the email from Wadhwani NEN, right? So just think, and maybe it can go to your spam or junk. Please do check. Okay, and it will be welcome to Wadhwani NEN. This is what it is. Okay, the email will have 3 steps. Okay, in fact, one is no, in fact, it will have 2 steps, not 3 steps. Okay, so we've removed that one additional step, so don't worry. So one is the login credential, which is the URL, that is web.nen.wfglobal.org. This is the link, and then you will have an OTP, which will look like, just enter that and you can go ahead. Okay, So as soon as you enter the URL, this is the screen that you will see. Click on get started. Okay. Enter your email ID and the OTP. Sign in. Create your password. Keep it simple. That's fine. Then you will have to register yourself. Simple. Put your first name, last name, your city. For city, just uh, use this drop down. And if it is Delhi, then just type DEL and there will be drop down. Select that. Okay. If you want to put your own place, that is fine. But if it is not there, no worries. Select the nearest city which is available. Put your phone number and email ID will be disabled and submit. That's it. Once you submit it, this is a screen that will come. Welcome and your name. And what you see on the screen, these 6 things, these are the filters. Okay. So let me skip this for a moment. So you put a cross, and this is where you will enroll into this. So the third step is already skipped. Okay. You will already be a part of this entire program. So there's no third step. Okay. And this is what you will get directly. Okay. So hello, your name, welcome. Instead of 2.1, which is the earliest version, you will get 3.4, right, which has AI part. Okay. So this was a 2-year-old program. Okay. And that's it. So once you're there, which means you have enrolled. Now let's talk about the second step. The second step is all about creating venture. Okay. So in a team, once you have identified that 3 of you are together and can actually start, one member will create the venture. Okay. Log in, just click on this create venture and put the details. Please note that these details are important for creating the venture, but these are editable. So if you are not very clear with your company name, with your startup name, it's fine. Give some good name, give some decent description, leave the website, which is absolutely optional, and maybe take 2 weeks time or 3 weeks time to design a logo. That's fine. Put an industry type, whether it is health tech, ed tech, agri tech, media, e-commerce, social enterprise. If you're not sure, there's an option of others. Click that. And then, yeah, there is the city, as you can actually see. Just click and save it. Okay. As soon as you save, this is how it will look like. So assuming that your venture name is WF Demo Venture, you will have, and it's from EdTech. So we identify every venture through the code. This is called the venture code, right? We have a URL where you can paste your branding video. Just put it, or the pitch video if you want. You can put it here. You can see later when you create your website, just put it. There are a lot of free tools that will be discussed during the MVP. And here you can see your team name and the venture support. So under venture support, you will have my name, you'll have your faculty name, you'll have additional mentors who will be coming, right? Now, let's say the person who has created, her name is Aishwarya, and she wants to onboard the other 2 members. She'll click on the add plus member button, and this is what it is, right? Because all of you would have already enrolled, as soon as she types the particular member's name, it will pop up and she can add immediately. That's it. So it's very simple. And by mistake, if she does, then she will have the right to actually remove that person. So we will take a week time to get this done. Usually by week 2, right, you should be ready with your idea, at least at preliminary level, get the ventures created and go ahead. Okay. And then once it is done, you will see these milestones. Currently, what you see, these locks. Okay, so your faculty is going to open the locks during a particular time period every 3 to 4 weeks, and you will submit your milestones. Okay, the good thing is only one person should be able to submit. One person is, is sufficient enough to submit, I'll say, right? And all the entire team members, I mean, all the team members will get equal scores and comments and everything, because it's a teamwork. That's it. Now let me explain to you the features, and I'll take up your question. Yes. So cohort is your cohort, okay? Who all are there in your as a team? And I'll show you, don't worry. Then you can chat. You can chat with me. You can chat with faculty, just like WhatsApp chat. You can download. You can just use. This is absolutely mobile friendly, so you can use mobile, and we can do that. Okay. If there are some online sessions to be conducted, we'll post the link there, and you can see on the events page that is there. Okay. My venture is a section which I showed. Your venture, which you can actually edit and write, and all your members, and likewise. And my venture is also a section where you'll have to upload your milestone. The word, this section, my planner, has now changed to course details. And when you click, that is where you're going to see the entire course. Okay. And the section is mentors. Okay. As and when the external mentors who will be there to you, they will support you. So now what is this external mentor? If your milestone one is really good, you're scoring 80% and above, our community team, which works separately to onboard mentors from industry who comes pro bono, they will actually connect you or assign you some mentor based on your requirement, right? And you can actually chat with the mentor, you can have Zoom sessions with them, and do let us know what's happening actually, right? Okay, now let me just check the, so this is what it is. I'll just unshare my screen. Yeah, and there are two chats. Not sure what was my first point. Maybe you can ask. Okay, if there are no questions, then let me just share the actual platform with you. So let me allow, some of them are still waiting. Okay, they've been allowed. Yeah, so here is my screen. Right, and so let me go to this, because this cohort has already been created. This is how it will look like, your name, and then we're coming up with cohorts. I have been informed that you come from different discipline. There's fashion technology, right? I think computer science, and likewise. So we'll have multiple cohorts, and we'll assign faculty. So for example, you can see the faculty here, name. There are some activities. Community is an open chat. Anybody can do, and it will be open for everybody. And if I post something to a specific cohort, then everybody within that cohort will be able to see that. Okay, cohort means batch, that's it. And yeah, and upcoming activities, I can create a meeting link and share it with you. That's one. Okay. There is this release milestone. Let me just click, and these are the 4 milestones. And as soon as I release the milestone, you can actually see the milestone. Okay. Cohort ventures, for example, here there are, no, yeah, how many members? Yeah, very recently, I mean, in fact, yesterday we started the session. So so this is how you will see your name, right? And you can see not a part of any venture. So these guys will be getting onboarded very soon. And as soon as they form the venture, we can see their venture name. That also I'll show you. Okay, and I can chat individually, and they can chat with me. They can chat in groups. Okay, and then let me take you to the course. If I just click on this, so this is what it is. 2 tabs, overview and course content. Overview is fine. I've already given you much details. And simple, left and right screen. Left screen will have, all these week 0 to week 14. Just click. Individually, you will have everything. And you will have cases, you will have videos, you will have masterclass. Uh, in fact, in week 0, we also have something called Mentor App Golden Standard Decks as an entire presentation that we have uploaded. Okay. Uh, what we do is we want to measure learners' ability, okay, towards the end. And we want them to grow, okay, in terms of knowledge. So we do two kinds of survey so that we can actually move the needle. Okay, first one is the baseline, where you are currently. Very novice, very noble, right? You may not know many things. Fair enough. Just give those scores to you. And towards the end, there'll be an end line survey, right? Which will talk about, where you are in the journey, what are you doing, okay? And there'll be some scoring, okay? So that is going to actually measure you where you are, okay? And we want to give this feedback. So these two surveys are also mandatory, and you will have to do it, okay? um, every week will also have a booklet is just like a book. Um, Read it. It will have some links. Watch the video, read the article. It is not going to be covered or uncovered in the classroom. What is to be dealt in the classroom is case study. However, we leave it to the faculty, that's fine. But that's how it is. Cases need to be discussed. If you don't understand the case, sometime there is something called a fireside chat video. What with one of the entrepreneurs of the case, we have recorded a video for 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Have a look and understand it, right? And every week we'll have a handout related to a specific task, which will be part of your milestone presentation. Okay. There is something called digital library, which is in fact open to anybody. So if you feel that you have your siblings who are not part of the course, somebody really wants to learn, right? They can just log into web.nen.wf global. They don't have to log in, in fact, just go there. Digital library is open and they can watch entire content. They can download everything. So this is very, very much free. That's it from my side. Now I'm open for questions. It is 3:15. Otherwise, I give back 45 minutes to you. Let me check if my colleague Ajay is there and we can do some onboarding. I'm really not sure because I haven't received details. If you want to speak something, you can go ahead. Otherwise, so leave it. Okay. Fine. Take it. Thank you. Okay, faculty, any question? Are there faculty here? I'm not because seeing anything. I'm Dr. Sujata, if you're there. I can see some people with the name Doctor. Yeah, Dr. Manpreet. Yes, we met. Can you hear me? Okay, then we will log out.